Hey Chip, how you doing? Hope you're well. Hey Patrick. Sorry I'm a bit late this morning in the airport, waiting for your wife. Cigar. Long time no see. Hope you're well. I actually saw my daughter off this evening. She went for a quick 25-hour, 24-hour round trip in Europe. She's gone to Hungary with some friends. Hey Daniel. And I went with the family a little bit earlier on to town. We went to see the lights. The lights are on for Christmas already in the West End. However, I think due to financial situations, I think the lights, they're very nice, but they seem a little bit dumbed down. We went to Selfridges. I took a few clips. I'll probably put them up on the channel soon. I'll string them along together into a video, maybe 3 or 4 minutes long, something like that. But it was very nice. Yeah, I haven't decided what I'm going to smoke yet, Daniel. I think I fancy a cigar as well, to be honest. I haven't quite made up my mind. I did smoke a pipe when I went to the West End. I took this pipe with me. I had some McLaren vanilla roll cake. This pipe is pretty much dedicated to vanilla roll cake, pretty much. Nice pipe. Have I smoked a Romeo y Julieta? Many of them I have smoked. If you're talking about Cuban ones, I mean I've smoked non-Cubans as well, but I've mostly smoked Cuban ones right at the beginning. Oh, excuse me. That's why I'm late. I fell asleep in the chair before. Right at the beginning of my cigar journey, I found the Romeo and Juliet Cubans to be a little bit too lightweight. Didn't have enough flavour for me, but lately I've really been enjoying them. And the same applies to Foyer de Monterey, which I also found a little bit too light for my taste, but now I really enjoy them. The non-Cuban, right? And ooh, last cigar in the box. This box was bought for me by my son when he went to Spain. I'm not sure how long ago. It would have been a few months ago. This is a 2020 box. Finito la commedia. That's a shame. It was a good box. Smoking some Low Country Natural Virginian Burley. Very nice. I have tried the Low Country Disto. I'm pretty sure I've done a first impressions video. But I don't recall what it was like. Yeah, 2020, 21, 2020 especially. Smoking very well. Beautiful draw. This should be a decent cigar, hopefully. I've kind of been packing this room up because, as you know, I'm making this into a workshop. I've actually got the stuff coming anytime between 7:30 in the morning and 11:30 tomorrow, so I can't stay on here too long. I've got to get a reasonable night's sleep. I've got to finish clearing this room up and start installing the cupboards. Yeah, I saw Mike's post earlier. Kane Rod Piper lost his father. I sent him my good wishes. It's not easy. Hey Mark, you're at work, that's good. Did you hear back about your interview for that position you were going for? That managerial position, or whatever it was? Yeah, it's kind of finished now. The ones that I've got. I can't see myself buying any great numbers of Cuban cigars anymore. Sad. But that's just the reality. Prices for Cuban cigars has just gone through the roof. Oh yeah, absolutely, Mark. When the timing is right, you know, it'll happen for you, I'm sure. You probably want to get a bit of a consistent period under your belt, don't you? With all the ons and offs that you've had recently, unfortunately. I don't remember what the Edisto was like, to be honest. I think it was a blend that possibly Andrew Srigliano sent me, possibly, I'm not sure. I was talking about that, Daniel, the other day, about the different blends that I've tried, the different non-Cuban cigars that I've tried. Going back, way back. And what I said I was going to do is buy some samples from smokingpipes.com and go back in history and try some of the cigars that I smoked. There was a time back in around 2017, something like that, when before I discovered 9mm pipes, that I was struggling with tongue bite so much that for about a year I hardly ever smoked a pipe, and I was pretty much exclusively smoking cigars. At that point I smoked so many cigars, sometimes 3 a day, really going at it quite heavily, and in those days I smoked a huge range of non-Cuban cigars. I just don't remember half of them. I need to go through my earlier videos. Sadly, they're not organized in groups. You know, it should really be organized in, you know, pipe making videos, pipe tobacco videos, cigar videos, but I don't have them organized in lists. Yeah, Leaf by Oscar is a nice cigar. I smoked a lot of those in the beginning. Nice, easygoing, mild cigar, good flavour. Arturo Fuente, I smoked a lot of their cigars. The 898 I smoked. Good middle of the road cigar, nice nutty flavour if I remember correctly. I smoked a lot of the Hemingway short story cigars, you know, the little torpedoes. Hey Andrew. The Opus X I wasn't a big fan of at the time, but as I say, the 898 was nice. The short stories. I smoked some of the Camacho blends, the lighter ones. I didn't like Rocky Patel, no. I found them too hot, too spicy. It's not to say every Rocky Patel, but the ones that I had a couple of different anniversary ones, and they were really very, very peppery. So I'm not going to go and buy Rocky Patels. I didn't enjoy them. This is a Hoyo de Monterey. It's like a short Robusto type thing. It's called Flor Extra Fina. Is that the... Well, the box is finished now. This is the last one. There's a few that I want to try again. I had some of the Padron. I think it was the 1964. Does that make sense? Is that right? 1964 anniversary. What else did I try? I tried the Monte Cristo White Series, which I seem to remember was nice, and I want to try that again. La Gloria Cubana Serie N. I smoked a couple of boxes of those, at least. Perdomo, I think it was the 20th anniversary. Smoked a lot of that. The Perdomos, there's like a gold-coloured cellophane one, which I think is the 10th anniversary. Actually, I've got a little presentation pack of Perdomos, and I can tell you which one it was that I smoked. I've had this a long time now. They're probably really good, these cigars. They've probably had about 3 or 4 years, I don't know, since I've got them. They've been in my humidor since then. And it's got like a Perdomo cigar band on the top. Yeah, so the gold coloured one, that's the 10th anniversary. And the one that I had was the 20th, which is this one here on the end. And I enjoyed those a lot. I haven't smoked the Habano one, and I haven't smoked the Lot 23. I haven't smoked this one, and that one I've never had. I'm not sure if I've had the champagne one, the 10th anniversary. I don't recall. The only one that I know I've had is the 20th anniversary, which is that one. These are all Connecticut wrappers. I wish I could tell what date it is. Cedar lined. It's a nice little cigar case, travel case. It's embossed as well here. Perdomo cigars. Nice little gold stitch all the way around. Not sure if it's leather or not. Probably not. Well, I'm already smoking a cigar, so I'm not going to open a Perdomo now, but I guess I will get to those at some point. Because it's a presentation pack, I just haven't split it, you know. I was considering, hey David, I was considering doing a sale tonight because I've been clearing out this room, and I thought whilst I'm clearing out, maybe I'll put a bunch of pipes in a box and see if I can sell some, but I just didn't have the time. I went out with the family, as I say. I went to town, went to see the Christmas lights, and time we got back, had something to eat, and came upstairs, and I dropped off in the chair and I fell asleep for a few minutes. And the time I got up, it was already midnight, so I didn't have time. I've got a big old box of pipes here, some of which I want to sell. But some of them I'm keeping, some of them I'm selling. And the ones that are really sort of in my real sort of small grouping that I smoke regularly, those are in my pipe rack, which is on my desk. And I think what I'm going to do is, if you guys remember, hold on, I just got to scratch that itch. Oh, that's good. If you guys remember, the guy who makes these pipe racks, you see these pipe racks here, he sent a whole bunch of them to various different channels, you know, and he gave them out free unconditionally, did a little video. So he sent me 2 at the time. I've only put 1 together so far, and it takes 14 pipes, and I've been thinking to myself to put together the second one as well. That'll give me 28 pipes, and I was thinking of using that as a tool to contract my collection to 28 pipes and only have pipes that can fit into that rack. And if I end up buying a new pipe and it's pipe 29, then another one has to be sold from the rack, one that's least smoke. I don't know if I'll actually do it, but it's an idea which has been hatching in my mind, like an experiment to see if I can bring down the size of my collection to that kind of size. Because that's probably enough in terms of pipes that I'll smoke regularly. But there are pipes that I've got that I don't want to sell, that I don't smoke very much either. Not many, but there are some. I'll give you an example. Hey Mike, I'll give you a good example. This GBD Jubilee pot, this pipe, I'm not going to sell because it is one of, well, even though, which is weird, it's a bit of a conundrum, is I don't smoke it, hardly ever. But it's one of my best smoking pipes. I don't know why. You know, it's well drilled and all of that, but it's just a fantastic smoking pipe. It smokes. It's got beautiful grain. It's not silver. This is what do you call it? It says on it VMC, whatever that means. But the pipe actually says on it GBD Jubilee, London made 526. That's what it says on there. But I smoke Etiquette blends in this, and it's just one which it just smokes itself virtually. It's just an amazing pipe. I just don't smoke it that well. I just that much. I just find that I smoke my own pipes more than anything else. Yeah, I mentioned Padron before, Elvin. I have smoked a few Padrons in my time. Hey Philip. The London made stamp is in a straight line, yeah. If you can see that, there you go, London made. It's London made over 526, but I'm sure those are separate stamps. When is that, Mike? What kind of dates are we talking? Early 80s. Cool. Does that give it some value, or is it just a dating? Cool. I don't really collect sort of brands like that, so to speak. I just know that it smokes very, very well. I wonder sometimes what it would be like to smoke Virginia blends in, because obviously I've smoked only Latakia blends in there, so I don't know how long it would take to extricate that flavor, but I've decided just to leave it as a Latakia blend pipe. It smokes it well, so I take the risk. One thing I've found over time is that pipes can be very finicky, and it's a bit like a car, you know. I find that with my cars, the less I mess around with them, if they're running well, I just leave them be. Don't faff about with them. As soon as you start messing around, things start to go wrong. So I think with pipes the same applies. If I have a pipe which smokes well, I don't go too crazy with anything with it. I try to stick to the same tobacco, at least in the same genre. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, exactly. Same genre of tobacco in a pipe. And when it comes to cleaning, hey Mike, Gamecock, long time no see, hope you're well. And if it's smoking well, I'll clean it out every so often. I don't give it a heavy, the full alcohol and all of that kind of stuff. Usually what I'll do is I'll run a pipe cleaner through it. I find the most important thing that you have to clean is the stem. The shank and bowl, they're getting, well, not so much the shank, but the bowl anyway. That's getting burnt out each time you smoke it anyway. It's more about the stem than anything else. The stem and the mortise, I guess. It'll depend on the length of the shank as well. If it's a longer shank, then you want to clean out that shank as well. I suppose the junction as well, where it enters the bowl, I guess, depending on how the drill is in the bowl, will depend on how important it is to clean that junction as well. If it's not exactly on the bottom, then sometimes you might find that stuff can gather there. Sometimes when you have a pipe where it's drilled very, very slightly lower than the bowl, it makes a little divot at the bottom, so that you've got to be quite careful to clean out fairly regularly, because you can get a build up there. Daniel, if you hey Jeffrey, how you doing? Daniel, if you go on YouTube and just search, you'll find lots of different ways of doing it. But that's certainly one of the ways of doing it. I've personally never done that because I've got the equipment to just buff it right out. But in some really, really old stems, if the oxidization is really, really bad, what I've had, certainly on one pipe that I remember, that I really liked, the pipe, it was a lightweight briar, but the stem was very badly oxidized. It was actually a pipe that I bought, an estate pipe that I bought from the late Joe Case. Not one of his pipes that he made, but one of his from his collection. It was a trying to remember the name. It was one of the old-time tobacconists. They used to run pipes with their name on it. Trying to remember. Come on, guys. Some old-name tobacconists in America. Not Andrews. Something like that, though. No, not Strauss. Not Gatlin. Come on, some of you gentlemen of a more senior flavour. Edwards, thank you, Mike. I actually would quite like to get a Cellini. Anyway, it was an Edwards, a carved Edwards pipe, very lightweight, but it got really, really hot when I smoked it. And but anyway, the stem was terribly oxidized, and no matter what I did to it, it was in the days when I had a buffer. I would buff it to a piano black shine, beautiful mirror finish, and literally in front of my eyes it would turn green again. I can still remember one day when I'd had it completely black, and I took it out for me for a drive, and literally as I was driving it, I could taste the bitterness, and I looked at it and I could start to see it already coming through that blackness, and it just sort of repulsed me at the time, and I ended up getting a new stem made. I sent it off to, I'm trying to remember if it was Ian Walker or Mike Billington. From memory, I seem to remember it was Ian Walker, and he made a beautiful black-green Cumberland stem. And but I ended up selling it in one of my sales. It's a good few years ago now, and I don't regret it, because, as I say, it used to get very, very hot, and the person who bought it loves it, smokes it, enjoys it, But I like the idea of just owning an Edwards pipe, just a little bit of American Tabacchiana. I got an interesting commission the other day. I'll see if I can make it the first pipe that I make in this workshop once I move into this place. The next 2 days I'm going to be busy getting this thing ship shape. The furniture that I'm going to be making the workshop out of is supposed to be arriving tomorrow morning, but it's going to be flat pack, so I've got to make it. So that's probably going to be my Sunday taken care of. I haven't actually got the workbench itself, the worktop. This is just going to be the units. So I need to go out and buy some worktop. I might just buy some ply. I might buy some 18mm ply and just buy 2 sheets of it and stick them together. Let's see. Or I might just get some kitchen worktop, because that stuff you can get some which is like you know, really thick. We'll see. The advantage of getting ply is that I like the idea of natural wood, and I can, you know, you can sand it and clean it and polish it. So I've got an interesting commission to do actually a custom built, seeing as you're talking about it. Customer sent me a picture of a custom built pot, a fairly classic custom built, slightly bent, you know, the thick wide sort of pot type thing, with the Tyrannosaurus Rex gouges on the side, you know, as if it's been gouged by some kind of dragon. So he wants me to do something like that. So I'll be doing that as soon as possible. Yeah, 18mm should be okay. I might just do a single sheet of 18mm and just put a bead underneath it to keep it straight. Maybe a 2-inch piece of 2x2 underneath it. I'm going to have a couple of drawers, so it's going to be sitting on that, and then I'll put a support all the way around. I actually joined a carver's exchange thing, which is happening over the holidays, which I've never been part of before. It's based in the States, but basically it's established pipe makers making pipes for each other. I'm quite excited about that. I've made a 6mm pipe. In fact, my Soren Rifberg, the little Soren Rifberg Levat that I have, that one I converted to 6mm. So that's a pipe I don't smoke, but I don't think I'll ever sell that. At least not that I never say never, but it's a pipe that I can't imagine selling. Nearly lost that pipe once. I'm sure I've told you guys about it. It was at, I think it was Ludlow Castle. We went there for a day out. We were on vacation, and I lost the pipe whilst we were there. We were pushing around the kids' buggy, whatever you call it in America, and I must have dropped it somehow. We walked around that castle, and I just said, I'm not losing that pipe. And we looked everywhere and eventually found it in the gravel, scratched out. But I found it. Oh, I see what you mean, Daniel. Have I made a 6mm to start with? I don't know, I can't remember. I don't know. I haven't had any requests for 6mm. And the non-filtered pipe that I made, that's on my website, still hasn't sold. It's been there now for a while. There's a few pipes on the website, which, to be honest, I thought they would have sold. I think they're nice pipes, good, very well priced. I think. I don't know if it's just a sign of things to come, or if it just happens to be that they're not sold. I must be honest, I am concerned. I am concerned. You think it's the time of year, Philip? I guess people are spending money on other things. Well, I hope that's all it is. I keep saying to my family that I'm nervous about the next couple of years. You know, it's just the downturn, the economic climate around the world. Anyway, so that should be a fun commission. This one you've probably seen. This is my pipe 666. It's a little cobra, a smooth cobra. It's not as pronounced as the previous cobras that I've made because it's smooth throughout. And if you notice the shine on this, I've been doing a slightly different process now for the last few pipes, and it really gives a beautiful finish, a more resilient, shiny finish. It's not using anything different, it's just the way I do it. It's still carnauba wax, but it's just the application of it. So this one is 666. A few people have said to me, why didn't I do a Devil Ants for 666? But this one was already underway, so I just carried on with it. Somebody said I should do one maybe with a horn on it for the devil's horns and all that kind of stuff, but I just figured I'll carry on with this one. Yeah, that's exactly what I mean, Philip. You know, you're making a living out of things which are essentially a lifestyle choice kind of thing. And when people have got to choose between putting food on the table or buying a new pipe, I know which one's going to win for most people. Although there are some people who will stop at nothing to buy a pipe. I had a guy recently who wanted one of the pipes that I've made, and you get sometimes people who are very gung-ho about something, and then when it comes to the money, then suddenly the interest dies down. And anyway, this guy wanted the pipe. He said he definitely wants it. Can I wait a few weeks to be paid? So I said, to be honest, no. I make a living from this. This is what I earn a living from, and I need the money. I can't sit around, hanging around. So he said, okay, fine. What he said, he didn't want to lose the pipe. He wanted the pipe, and he said, in that case, can I give him till Monday morning? He's going to take money out of one of his policy accounts or something. And the whole thing sounded a bit iffy. And I said to him, are you sure you really want to do that? You're going to take money out of your savings to buy a pipe? Although I'm not one to discourage a customer, but I felt either he was just stringing me along or he was doing something which wasn't advisable. And I felt, I said, I've been there before. I know what it's like. You really don't want to do that. But if you're sure or whatever, blah, blah. Anyway, he says, yeah, I'm sure, I'm 100% sure. The whole thing didn't pan out in the end, as you might expect. But the one which irks me the most is that when people commission a pipe and the pipe's done and ready, and then they say, okay, I'll pay you in a month, or I'll pay you in 2 weeks. And that actually I find, although you keep your P's and Q's and you don't get angry on the emails or anything like that, you still got to maintain a relationship with customers. But that bothers me when somebody commissions a pipe and then says they don't have the funds to pay for it, for another 2 weeks or a month or whatever it is. I've got to wait for my paycheck. Then don't commission a pipe. If you're commissioning a pipe, that means you're ready to go. Or at least say at the outset, I would like to commission a pipe, but I won't be ready to pay for it until such and such date. And I've had a guy like that, and I said to him, fine, no problem at all, I'll make you the pipe when you're in funds. Sometimes it gets a little bit awkward, and you risk losing the customer, but sometimes you get the feeling that people think that you're rolling in it, that you just, yeah, sure, no problem, I'll wait. But it's not like that. It's I literally live off it, Yeah, that's rough, Phil, especially if it's a friend. That's got to be hard, but if it's a friend, you might think that maybe it's a genuine situation. That can happen, I have that loads of times. People express an interest on a pipe, and then when it comes to asking for money, they say, oh, something just happened, the back end just dropped out of the car and I've got unforeseen expenses. That's fine, just say that you don't want the pipe, and that's fine. But for that, I give people the benefit of the doubt. They want to still remain an interested customer, so they say a reason why they can't go ahead with it. I don't mind if somebody contacts me with it showing an interest in a pipe, and when I tell them the price, they could just simply say that's out of my reach, and I'm okay with that. That's absolutely fine. I had that recently with a pipe that I was interested in. I contacted the seller, the pipe maker, and I said, how much is that? And they told me the price. I said, Shane, I'm really interested, but it's just out of my league. I think it was, I don't know, maybe $300 or $400. It's just more than I want to spend on a pipe. And that was it. It was absolutely fine. You just be straight. Exactly, Patrick. Yeah, 100%. It's always good to have interest. It's good. You never know what's down the line. Somebody has a bit of money and they can buy a pipe. You want to stay friends with people. You want to stay on good terms with potential customers for sure. But you just don't like it when you get the runaround. That's just gets on your nerves. Yeah, that was my main thing. I don't have a problem if somebody just can't afford to buy a pipe, no problem. But if you commission a pipe, and you don't have the money sitting waiting, that's wrong. Kicking the tires, that kind of thing. What is the etiquette at pipe shows? Do people pick up pipes? Do pipe makers let you pick them up and fondle them and that kind of thing? Or even go as far as put the pipe in their mouth? Is that kind of thing acceptable, or does every pipe maker have their own rules? I'm smoking a Hoyo de Monterey Cuban cigar. It's like a short Robusto, very very nice. It's the last one of my box set, unfortunately. It's Hoyo de Monterey Flor Extra Fina, which is extra fine tobacco, I guess. Yeah, that's what I would have thought, not put in your mouth. But I read somewhere in one of the magazines, the older magazines, and they said that some pipe makers used to have these little sleeves that they would put on the pipe so you could try it in your mouth. No, I'm not talking about softy bits. That's something else. I was just curious, but I would expect not to put that in your mouth for sure. The OGS. I didn't get your OGS. I did get some OGS from the guy here in the UK was selling 400 gram tins from 2017, and one of them turned out to be 2016. So we'll see what those taste like. Either owning it or the next guy that buys it will probably get more than he bargained for. Did you send me the tracking number, Jeff? I don't remember. Did you resend it, Jeff? I can't remember where we're up to with that. It's been a bit of a saga for you. I'm so sorry. You have to keep resending it. Is there just one post office where you are? Well, let's hope it makes it. Thank you. I appreciate you persevering with it. It's very good of you. Anyway, I'm looking forward to getting this workshop up and running. It's going to be a bit of a slog for a few days, and I'll show you guys around once we're maybe whilst we're doing it as well. I'll probably start to take pictures once the room is cleared, and then do sort of pictures of each stage. Hey, Cole. Well, if he's messing you around, doesn't look like he wants to be helped, Jeff. Oh yeah, the Briar Blues. I've been wearing this now, and as we start to get into the cold nights, it's really nice and warm. It's a little bit big on me, believe it or not, but it does the job. Yeah, well, people have gotten used to being paid for nothing during the pandemic. Briar Brews. Show you some of the pipes that I've taken out of my drawers, which I don't smoke very often. Brands that maybe you don't see that often. This is a Michael Burks, an American pipe maker. Lovely pipe. He's a part-time carver, but he makes some really nice pipes. This is my Radice Briar Blues 2019, isn't it? Yeah, 2019. It gets smoked every so often, but hey, Beowulf, haven't seen you in a long time. There's the sandblasted Parker and a beautiful sandblast. Really nice ring grain on this one. This was a basket pipe purchased at JJ Fox's years ago. What else? Got a Savinelli autograph. No, I'm just showing some pipes. I'm not doing sale now. There's an amazing ring grain on this pipe. Look at it. Amazing sandblast. That's a autograph. It hasn't got any digits after it. This one you've probably seen. I mean, I don't smoke it that often anymore, but it's a lovely Escorti. This is a Christmas pipe from, when is it, 2009 perhaps? Sorry, even older than that, 1997. Really nice pipe. A mixture of smooth and rusticated with a nice silver godet on there. What else? Vanelli Punto d'Oro Sandblast. This one, this is a Millville. Punto. Let's see where I put it. Oh, it's gone far. Where's it gone? How did it get in the corner there? I don't know. Millville is not a second. This is a 677 Punto d'Oro. Millville was a pipe made by somebody called, I think his name was John Marshall. He had like a stall in St James's. This is an English carver, made very, very good pipes. This is actually my own stem on there. I converted it to 9mm. And when I got it, it says on it Millville Unique. I don't know if you can see that. It says made by hand in London City. When I got it, it was very, very dark and patinaed. And I buffed it up, and it revealed this really, really nice grain. Pretty clean pipe. Very, very nice grain on it. Smokes pretty well. I don't smoke it enough to really get to go with it. Sort of get really intimately familiar with it. But the interesting story is, one day he used to have a stall, as I say, he used to have a stall, and he'd sell it straight off the stall, and he one day had enough, and from one day to the next he took all of his machines and just dumped them in the street and stopped. You know, just one day to the next, literally took the machines, threw them out on the street in a dump, and that was the end of it. A quality pipe maker. But this was an individual, it wasn't seconds or anything like that. An individual pipe maker in London, not that long ago. You can still see Millville pipes on eBay. Some of them are old originals, but the ones that you see now on eBay are, I don't know who's putting them out there, but they're not real. I mean, they may be real, but they're not the original Millville. And the way you tell the difference is on the stem you have an M, and if you have an M which is a block letter M, it's not the original. If you have a stylized cursive M, then that's the original. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. I don't know what the Punto d'Oro is worth. Got no idea. It's in really nice condition. So if I sell it, I mean, it's got a lovely, really beautiful sandblast on it. I don't know. I really haven't. I did offer it up in the past, I think. So I don't know what price I put it up at the time. There's still a few Stanwells here which haven't sold. There's a few LCSs which I'll probably put up at some point. This is a Tom Phillips. Apparently he's restarted making pipes recently, which is nice to see, but I've not been able to see his posts for some reason. And this Sarah L tank, which I haven't smoked. I was gonna convert it, but I decided not to. But a very nice sandblasted egg with a horn adornment. So that's going to go for sale. It has been up once already. And I've got a Jason Mouton sandblast, which I have already offered up, so I don't smoke it. That is an amazing sandblast. Look at the ring grain on that. This is a Stanwell. Just an amazing sandblast. Very tight grain. So anyway, those are some of the pipes which I have, but don't smoke really very often at all. I wouldn't be doing a trade anyway, Daniel. Those will be up for sale, not for trade. Trying to contract, not to expand. You don't like a radish? A pipe paw or a pipe whore? Oh, there's also this LCS bamboo, which I don't smoke that often either, but I don't think I'll be selling that. I have had offers, but that's a lovely pipe, really gorgeous pipe. That needs like a couple of hours session. But a big bowl, really gorgeous eldritch stem. Nice thick piece of bamboo, so I was able to make it 9mm. And I've tried to get thicker bamboos to make more 9mm bamboo shanks, but so far I've not managed to get any with a decent width to them. I actually quite like radishes. I've been on his website. I find it hard to navigate. I think it's that website. Is it the one with the initials? What's his website? Big Phil, he likes 320s, but he also likes Stubby Bent Billiards. He's got a couple of them now from me. He's got, most of you probably guessed it by now, but he's got the pipe 665, I think it is. That's the silver spigot one, which I did recently. That was a commission for him. Came out beautiful, that pipe, really did. That was a struggle to send that one away. Yeah, that's perfectly understandable, Daniel, because the more you go down the bowl, the wider the bowl gets. You know, it keeps the pipe nice and cool, and they're an easy shape to hold. You know, some of them can be a bit heavier. Excuse me. The 320 in particular is I find it to be a heavy pipe. Yeah, this is 666. It is not a devil ants, it's a cobra. And it's on the website. I put it up earlier this evening at a great price. I think it's a great price. Sterling silver, and the silver is on the stem. So what I've done is I've got the silver slightly protruding, so it slips over the face of the shank, and it worked out really, really nice. Really nice pipe. Again, it's one of those which I think if it doesn't sell, I might keep this one. We shall see. We shall see. I've got that one with a spliced shank as well, which I haven't sold either. I haven't put it up for sale. I haven't decided what I'm doing with it. Do you mean the LJ Peretti London flake? I haven't. Have I tried that with OGS? Not sure. That's actually a good shout. I must try that. I'm not sure if I have tried that. However, what I would say is that there's a big difference between the London flake and Virginia woods. They're two different genres of tobacco. Even though, to my palate, the LJ Peretti London flake gets really close in terms of the clovey spiciness. It gets quite close to the standard Virginias from McClelland's. Virginia woods is something slightly different. It's more of a almost like the fragrant Virginia that they do. It's got some kind of flavor to it, which I think the mature fragrant, whatever it was called, fragrant 2000 something or other from McClelland, I think that had the maple topping, if I'm not mistaken. And it just gave it that kind of a little bit of a flavor. The Siglo one, it was okay. It wasn't great. It was okay. The final third was great. I must say the final third was very good. But I gave it an average overall mark because the first 2/3 were fairly generic Cuban. You know, it didn't taste like a Cohiba. It didn't taste like anything special at all until the final third. It had a little bit of a snug draw. It wasn't like a tight draw, but it was a bit snug, which kind of did mar the overall experience. But the final third was nice. It was rich. It was spicy. It was warming. You know, it was really. The final third was good. I mean, it did go bitter for a while, and then it sort of came back. Yeah, the final third was good. The problem is it's a short cigar, so just to get the final third out of a tiny cigar already. It was just not good value for money. They cost a lot of money nowadays, although I didn't pay for that one. I got that in a trade. It's funny because usually smaller cigars, not usually, but often smaller cigars can be quite a bit more punchy than larger cigars, because it's kind of all perhaps you get more of an influence from the wrapper than you would on, say, a Robusto or a Toro, that kind of size, because there's so much filler that the amount of the proportion of wrapper to filler is smaller, so you get less of a flavor influence from the wrapper. You smoked Cohiba Robustas in the Dominican. Well, I'm assuming those were New World Cohibas rather than Cuban Cohibas. Were they cold or were they Cubans? Whipped cream with a little pepper. Cubans. The Robustas are nice. The Robustas, for me, Robustas are my favourite size. Robustos, short Robustos, those are my favourite. If I had the choice, I would always go for that. Either a short Robusto or a standard Robusto. This is like a short Robusto. A little bit bigger, maybe, than a short Robusto. Somewhere between a short Robusto and a standard Robusto, Cuban size. And that's about perfect for me. Yeah, Cohibas are, they've got to be right, that's the thing. You know, Cohibas are really, really nice, but they've got to be right, they've got to be ready, they've got to have that bit of age on them. Otherwise, it's a shame to smoke them. If they're new, if they're fresh, it's just a shame. It's a shame because it's a bit of a waste of a cigar. I think that they just need a minimum of 5 years, the Cohibas. Partagas, yeah, I've been enjoying those. I've still got some of the D6s, the small ones. Monte Cristos. Funnily enough, I now find Monte Cristo sometimes a little bit too strong for me. Done a bit of a U-turn. You know, I used to go sort of stay away from mild cigars and go for the stronger ones in Cuban cigars. And now I've kind of reversed that, and I'm enjoying Hoyo de Monterreys, which are the sort of at the milder end of Cuban cigars, and Romeo and Juliet, which is at the milder end. P2, I haven't had one of those in ages. Really, really nice cigars. The P2, the E, is it the E, is it called the E5 or E, what's the bigger, is it E something? Is there an E something? I used to get those in boxes of 5. All right, David, have a good one. These are the Monte Cristo Dantes. This is from 2016. It's a really, really nice cigar. Look how dark the wrapper is. dark wrapper, very punchy cigar. This was when I first tried them when they first came out. I wasn't a fan, but later on, I really started to enjoy these. I've got three left of the Dantes, and I've got a Partagas number 2, P number 2, but this is a Sevilla, Siri Sevilla, which is the ones which come in a china jar. And one of my followers on YouTube sent me a big tub of tobacco and a couple of these as well, and some other stuff, which is very, very nice of him. I think I've smoked one of them, and I've got one of these left. Oh no, that's the one you sent me. Oh no. Partagas Mille Fleurs. These are from 2021. I've smoked about a quarter of the box so far. It's a box of 25. The problem with Mille Fleurs is that they're often tight. I've had Mille Fleurs in the Partagas, and I've had it in the Romeo and Juliet. That's the problem, is that they're often tight. This is a box that I'm so itching to smoke. This is Ramon Allones Hexagon. This is the French regional edition from 2016, is it? 2016, October 2016. I got 3 boxes of these. I smoked the first 2. Look at that, isn't it beautiful? So, but I know that if I start this box, it won't last. And that's the philosophy that I have. Once I start a box, I know it's not going to last, so I just don't start it. Somehow I manage not to start it. I've got 2 or 3 different boxes like that, which I just haven't started. Because I know that once I do, and they all seem to be Ramon Allones as well. This is a Edición Limitada 2019. Apparently these are really quite valuable. Really nice box as well. You know what's crazy? It's 2019 limited edition, but the box date is 2020. That's Cuba for you. Look at the colour on these. Oh, they smell amazing. Now I've got one more box of Ramon Allones which I haven't started, and that's the Great Britain Regional Edition from 2012, and I smoked a lot of those in the early days when I started smoking cigars, and I had to hunt around to get that final box. They were out of stock everywhere. Still got the receipt of this one. I bought this in January 2017, paid £250 for this. At that stage, that was expensive. They originally retailed at around 200. The first few boxes that I had were around 200. And these are sort of they're called Petit Bellicosos. These are a bit brighter, as you can see, but they've actually gotten a bit richer over time. They were quite a bit brighter when I got them, and they're aging really nicely. And that's the box date, October 2012. So this was my last box of these, and I've resisted somehow. I don't know how, but I've resisted. But there, the EMS date is 2015. It's English Market Selection, which is by Hunters and Francow, which are the UK importers for Cuban cigars. So they kind of control everything Cuban here in the UK. And at one stage, this was my go-to cigar. Back in around that kind of time, 2017, 2016, 2017, this was my go-to cigar. I don't know how many boxes I smoked. I must have smoked quite a few boxes of these. They're only boxes of 10s, unfortunately. And when I tried to find some more of these, as I say, they were all out of stock, except for this one box left in, where did I buy it? Was it Black Swan? No? I bought this at Dunhill, St James's. I missed that shop. I used to know a guy there called Robert. He used to run the shop, him and another guy. His name was Tom, I think. Two very, very nice guys. And they used to have cabinets there so you could keep your cigars if you bought, and they used to look after them for you, and you'd come in, sit and have a cigar from your own box, from your, they'd have a little cupboard there. And they were very good to me. Obviously I was a regular customer, and if I wanted a box and I didn't have the money at the time, he would say no problem. He'd put them away, put my name on them, and I would pay for them. He was happy to do that. I'd pay for them a little bit later on. Very, very nice people. Such a shame that shop's gone. Well, there is another cigar shop there now. I popped in to say hello, but I haven't actually been there and bought a cigar. Super Partagas, no. I kick myself sometimes when I remember back to some of the cigars that I've had, the value of them. The Cohiba Robusta Supremos, I've said this, I've spoken about these many times, the ones that I sold before my daughter's wedding. They're worth a fortune now. Those boxes, which I paid around 400 quid for 10 at the time as an investment, I only made a couple of hundred quid per box at the time when I sold them. But they're worth about £2,500 for a box of 10. 2015, I think it was, or 2016. Ridiculous. Interesting thing is that the Behike, you can buy Behikes, you just have to pay for them. GQ Tobaccos has Behikes at the moment, but they're £300 or something like that. I've got an extractor now, and I'm smoking indoors now, but I do have an air filter which I bought for my workshop originally, which is the same brand as my big lathe, but I've never used it. I've never even taken it out of the box. because I've been in a very unsettled situation outside in the workshop. But once I'm in here, then I will install that. Well, it really depends on who's doing the reviews, Cole. You know, I've heard some of the big cigar channels review Cuban cigars, and the thing is that because they don't smoke Cuban cigars very often, they're not getting what they're about. Cuban cigars are very different. Yeah, everyone has a different opinion, that's for sure. But if you, who's the guy? Zeal Cigars. Zeal and Tim Swanson, they used to be together. If you guys remember, they used to do it. They used to have a channel and they split. And so you've got Zeal Cigars and you've got Cigars Daily. Those are the two channels. And when they split, I watched both of the channels, and now I'm still subscribed and I see them in my feed, but I very rarely watch the videos. And I remember watching them smoke Cuban cigars and not liking them and saying how mild they are and they got no flavor. But when you're used to smoking New World cigars, which are much punchier, much more peppery, much more richness to them, you're going to go to a Cuban cigar, it's going to be mild by comparison because it's a completely different animal. It's chalk and cheese, you know. They're not really comparable. Padron is certainly top of the line. It's something I want to. Yeah, I mean, Cigar Obsession is a legit cigar reviewer, but his tastes also will be non-Cubans. Although he's had Cuban cigars, but his taste certainly will be used to non-Cubans. Is he still on YouTube? I thought he closed down his channel. I've had the 64, the Padron 64 I've had. I actually found that to be a really strong. I had it in the early days, and I got a lot of sort of big nicotine hit from the Padron. He's on Rumble, okay. What was the platform that everybody moved over to a few months ago? Was that Rumble? I can't remember because I did set up an account, but I've only posted one or two things on there. I don't know if that's getting busy or not. Are people using it? That was the IG competition for Instagram. Was that Rumble? So is Rumble more of a video-based platform? I'm talking of the one that people went over to for a picture-based one. Everybody was signing up about maybe 5-6 months ago. I don't know what it is, but it's the flavor. The flavor of Cuban cigars. It's got to be something to do with the environment there and the soil, and obviously the flavor that you get out of the leaf. Because when they take Cuban seed and they plant it in the New World, and they make cigars from Cuban seed, it doesn't taste of Cuban cigars. So it's definitely to do with the cultivation and the process. I would imagine the process is pretty similar, but it must be to do with the soil and the environment that gives the flavors that you get with Cuban cigars. Sea soil in production. Yeah, but it's a bit of a mixed bag, Oscar, because they're still stuck in their old ways. You've got the construction issues with Cuban cigars, and they still have them. You know, it's better than it was, but it's still, like I was saying with the mille fleurs, you know, they're all tight. They're smokable, most of them, but nearly all of them are tight in that box. That's why most of that box is still there. Oh, I must remember to put these back. Right, well, it's nearly 2 a.m. and potentially my furniture is arriving at any time after 7:30 in the morning, so I better get to sleep some point. So I'm going to say thank you, everybody. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Oscar. Thank you, Jeff. Andrew. Cole. Daniel. Mike Briar Blues, if you're still there. David Rocking Steady. Mike Gamecock Piper. Phil Rivara. Be a Wolf, if you're still there. And everybody else. Thanks very much for joining. Cohiba and Trinidad, those were the two top brands which Fidel Castro used to keep for himself and give out to people. I think Trinidad was before Cohiba. Trinidad was the one blend which was kept for almost for diplomatic use. But then it was Trinidad and Cohiba, and you couldn't buy that on the market initially, and eventually they came onto the main market. Alright, thanks everybody, have a great weekend, catch you on the next one.